as well. So, it's one of those things. I mean, how was it for you to make that transition over? And, just how, obviously, are you always learning about certain things that you can do in terms of portraits?
Yeah, I think I've always had the ability, and I would say, I guess, the gift of, being able to be in tune with people. And that's the approach that I have to my photography. I almost never plan a photo shoot, because to me, when you're shooting someone, you're trying to capture the essence of that individual. And especially if you've never met that individual before, there's really no amount of planning that can account for how that person is going to be feeling that particular day, in that moment. And so, again, I have a very organic approach to how I shoot. And in a matter of a few minutes, I know exactly what angles to shoot from, what kind of shot it needs to be, what kind of direction I need to give to that individual to really get the best shot out of them.
Obviously, on location, I mean, if you kind of do that too, you're going to kind of have to take a look at certain rooms to see if it's aesthetically pleasing, if the light's good into it as well. I mean, obviously with that also in mind that you have to have a bunch of different things in terms of your toolkit. You have to have, something for any kind of shoot or whatever, since you're not scouting at all as well. I mean, how much gear do you bring usually in terms of a portrait shoot? And, is there any certain things that you're looking for in terms of a location within like a house or a hotel?
Ansel Adams did it probably the best. He was always known for using, one light source, which is the original light source, the sun. And I try to have the same approach when I shoot. I don't like to shoot with a lot of lights. I don't like for things to look flat. I love dimension because that's what the human eye sees. And so, for me, if I'm shooting in a place, obviously, that's dark, then yeah, I'm going to have to pull out the strobes so that way we can get, some nice lighting. I like to use soft boxes so that way you really get, just a nice soft flow of the person's face and their skin tone. But if there's a window, trust and believe, I'm going to be using that window as much as I possibly can. I love natural light. If I could do an entire photo shoot in mostly natural light, I'm a very happy person. Because what happens too is that the more equipment you have, the more setup that you have. The more setup that you have, the longer that it takes. And for me, it's all about maintaining the connection with that individual. People are guarded. It doesn't matter who they are. And especially when you're photographing celebrity talent. And so you only have a small window to really extract what you need out of that individual to really make it, a fantastic shoot. And so I like to go with I'm a minimalist when it comes to shooting. So, not having a lot of equipment is my preferred way to go. That being said, you got to have the right equipment. There are some great cameras and camera brands out there. What I would say is as long as you have, a camera that can, has got good quality ISO where you can bump that up if necessary, and a low light lens, you're going to be pretty good. And then of course, you got to have some strobes. It's good to have, sometimes I pack my, my studio strobes, if I'm going to be plugging in, or sometimes I use my battery operated ones if, we're out somewhere where there's no power. So definitely come prepared, but it's funny because I usually bring a lot of equipment with me, but I end up kind of using only maybe like a third of it, if any of it besides my camera. So I like to keep it very easy. Again, it's all about, to me, it's really all about the emotions and the connections that I'm having with that individual and extracting the best out of them.
I know a lot of your clients probably are very with the shoots they have done, but is there anybody in particular that was really happy with what you've done in terms of their portrait?
I've had I definitely have heard through the grapevine how pleased people were. I think really I think I'm just so fortunate to be able to meet people who are super talented and who have, afforded me the opportunity to be able to photograph them. Some of the most memorable shoots that I've had, thus far just in my career shooting celebrity portraits are obviously shooting with Meghan Markle, and kind of just seeing how her career has taken off and where she's at right now in life. Octavia Spencer, very, very special individual. I actually got a chance to photograph her before the movie The Help came out, which of course she won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, and then of course she just, it was history from then on. Other people like Sterling K. Brown, being able to shoot him after his performance that he did on OJ right before This Is Us, and now he's a huge star on This Is Us. Chrissy Metz also, who's on This Is Us. What a beautiful soul, the photo shoot was so cool with her. She was just, she literally showed up by herself with no posse, and it was just a great moment. And some of the things that she's had to overcome in her life, some of the personal things that she had shared with me, and those are some of the raw emotions and some of those things that you actually see in the photos that come out. Those are the stories that she's telling, and you can see that through her eyes and her expression. So those to me are like those are the memorable moments. And of course, it's always nice when someone can appreciate what you've done for them, but I think more so it's what they've done for me that has propelled me and has continued to motivate me to continue doing this over and over again.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the magazine. We talked about the sports much later, but just overall, how's it been the past couple of years having this digital publication, and to have the ability to really kind of show off not only yours but a bunch of other people's work?
Yeah, it's the magazine was started by myself and my business partner Valerie Noble. Valerie has a background in hair and makeup, so she's always done glam. And she does it for many Hollywood celebrities as well, too, including like red carpet. And so we had this concept of putting this digital publication together and, making a fusion of, I would say it was kind of like a mix of like what Venice Magazine used to be, and then also doing it in a very like classic town and country Vanity Fair kind of way, And so really what it is that our concept was to photograph the actors and actresses that typically don't get that kind of press coverage. When you're looking at other magazines on a larger scale, like a Vogue or Elle or Bazaar, they typically go for, the uber popular, actors and actresses, which really are a handful of them. And, not a lot of other actors and actresses get that kind of press. And so we really wanted to create fashion editorials that were beautiful spreads, that were multiple pages, so that way when people were to look at them, their favorite person from their favorite show, was well represented. And, it's crazy. We look at, we kind of look back sometimes and, 9 years later of doing this, we've over 450 different faces that we've had in the publication. It's been quite amazing. So, it's exciting to be able to do this, on a digital platform, because just how quickly accessible it is for people, whether they're, they've got it on their phones or traditional laptop or iPad or whatever the case is. So it's been fun, really, really fun.
And you kind of mentioned that, you get a lot of these celebrities right before, a lot of them hit big, and there's got to be a little bit of, for me, just on my end of things, to be able to see some of the people that I've had on the show and other formats that I happen to have, but just to see somebody be successful and reach that upper echelon is kind of there's a little bit of pride in that, to be able to see that you've covered somebody that has made it to that level. There's got to be also a little pride with you to see some of these people that you've photographed over the years make it to that next level and really kind of hit a home run on that as well. How is it for you?
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. Like when we photographed Meghan Markle, we photographed her for the TV show Suits that she was on, and that was right when Suits would just started. And then of course, I had no idea that she was going to be, the Duchess of York, a few years later. But to be able to kind of say like, wow, we did that. We were one of the very few people who had an opportunity to photograph her. Before she had her station, it's a proud moment, or, when I, like photographing Octavia Spencer, just before she was, like right when she was on the cusp of being a huge star, and now, being able to see her career blossom. There's lots of other people that, we get to have that experience with, and you watching them on television or you watch them in films, and it's nice to be able to kind of quietly say, like, hey, you know what, we had a, somewhat indirect or even direct hand in that as well.
With Meghan, I mean, where was the shoot taking place?
We actually shot in Hollywood. It was a studio space in Hollywood where we shot that, and that was like 4 years ago. Well, going on 5 now. So was
it kind of like an office?
No, it wasn't an office. It was a. I don't even know how to explain it, to tell you the truth. It was almost kind of like one of those like WeWork buildings, right? But it was like a studio space for that. So I guess that's the best way to. I guess that's the best way to explain it. I mean, I wish I had like a better story. Like, yeah, we shot her in Windsor Castle, but no, it was. We did not have access to that at the time.
And one last question about Meghan. I'm just curious. I mean, how was it for you to be able to shoot her? And obviously she seems like the nicest person in the world. Just seeing all the press that she does and all the charity work she's doing as the Duchess of Sussex right now. But was it working for her back then?
She was very lovely, very, very lovely, very kind, courteous. Really nothing bad to say about her, and very professional as well too. She was a quiet person, kind of just more reserved. So I would say that really what you see on television with her is pretty much on par with how she really was, at least in my experience, working with her. So it's just nice, I mean, she now has a platform where she can continue working on the things that are important to her, the things that actually matter in life. And so it's nice for her, to be able to see that happen with her. Even before she was doing that, there were lots of things that she was doing, charity wise. And she was much of a fashionista and a foodie as well too. And so, now she's got a way bigger platform with much more visibility that she can start to promote these things. So definitely awesome for her.
Yeah. What should we expect with the magazine in the next month, December issue? Do you do anything special?
Yeah. So actually we have a January issue that we've got coming out. So that's going to be top of the year. That's going to be our winter issue. So a lot of winter television shows that are either just starting and quite a few of them that are coming back. We are also working on a music edition as well too. And then we've got, what else? We've got our spring issue coming out. After the spring, we'll have our summer TV issue as well as our sports edition. And so definitely looking forward to featuring some cool athletes for our fans and demo as well.
Okay. So it's a magazine. I'm assuming the magazine is on social media?
Yeah, you can check us out. It's at Regard Mag on Instagram, at Regard Mag on Twitter, and just Regard Magazine on Facebook. So yeah, please follow us.
And you guys can check out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, please follow us. Send us a little love, and we'll be glad to hear from you guys.
Yeah, Regard Magazine, regardmag.com. You guys can check out the editions of the magazine there as well. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to, get to know about myself, get to know about, Regard and, this little baby that we gave birth to and now are watching grow. And, really appreciate you giving us this platform to be able to talk about it. So thank you.
Not a problem at all, Dimitry, and definitely we'll keep in touch. It's great to be able to, I've only had one more other photographer on this thing, and it's always nice to be able to talk to photographers about their jobs and all that as well. So, best of luck to you in the new year. I really look forward to those new issues.
I appreciate it. All right, enjoy the day. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, Dimitry.
Okay, bye.
Dimitry Loiseau, everybody. you guys can check them out. Check out Regard Mag. I'm hoping I'm not butchering her name again. His last name again. I'm hoping not. Great to be able to talk to him a little bit about what he does for a living. I mean,